Hello, hello. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. It's hump day. It is, right? Yes. Happy hump day Wednesday, November 19th. Of course, it makes this Weird News Wednesday for us, where we have a little bit more fun with the news. There's our buddy Ted Rall, fresh over from Deprogram. Welcome to all the deprogrammers. I hope you stay tuned. Just telling them, Ted, on Wednesdays, we like to do weird news here on this show. Weird
We
News
always
Wednesday.
like to do weird news.
That's
We're weird people doing weird news in weird ways.
That is true. And you know what? Honestly, like, where can you get the weird news on streaming? So you are tuned into the TMI Show, Ted Manila Information Show. It's TMI for short. We do it Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Please be sure to hit the like and the follow button, the subscribe, and please share the content, especially if you guys are cruising over onto YouTube. We post up a lot of the little shorts where there's like little hot takes or whatever. Sharing those little clips really helps the show's visibility so people learn about us. So if you can share any of those, that would be a great way to help. If a financial contribution is not your thing, if you're not in the position, then just share it. It's free. Share our stuff. So,
but please donate, because we need the money.
We do. We really do. And before we actually get to the stuff that's on the agenda, there was really big breaking historical news, Ted. I don't think you heard this yet.
Involving Clovis?
Animals, yes.
Okay.
So I'm going to share this with the audience now. And I wish it was February when this news came out. It would make more sense. But I mean, it's the holidays. It's the holidays. So this is cute. So Ted, did you know it turns out the first kiss didn't happen at some prom night in the 1950s?
No, I knew that.
It may have happened some 20 million years ago with our ape ancestors. Kissing. Okay, this is what the scientists. This is all condensed. I condensed it.
By the way, do you know the linguistic origin of the word kiss? The etymology of it. You'll like this. I'll give you a hint. It is Central Asian.
Really?
Yes. So this is very cool. So kizzle means to kiss. It is the Turkic word. Turkic. So all Central Asian languages, with the exception of Tajik, are Turkic languages: Turkmen, Uzbek, Kyrgyz, Kazakh, and Uyghur. And they all have a common root, in the same way that like all Romance languages have the same root, right? Mm-hmm. And so
you would think kissing came out of one of the Romance countries.
It did not. It came from kizel, at least the word kizel. So, and in fact, there's now today in Kyrgyzstan and Kazakhstan a game, I think I've mentioned this to you, called Kizel involving a guy, a suitor, who is legitimately trying to kiss a girl. They're both on horseback,
and she beats their asses.
Yeah, and she can beat his ass, but basically, if he succeeds, they get married. They consummate the marriage in the yurt.
Oh, he really has to like capture the bride.
Oh, it's like, and it's not for show. Like, it's real. Yeah, like it's like
oh my
marriage
God,
is at stake here.
Can we please have that as a reality show?
I mean, come on, today on ESPN 12, right? Like, it would be amazing.
Like, wrangle your bride. Okay, so look, scientists just broke this news, and I don't know why, but it whatever. They broke the news on Newsweek, right? Because Newsweek, they still have that on the magazine stands, I think. So
no, they don't.
So
I mean,
they don't.
Well, I mean, they kind of do, but the circulation of like Time and Newsweek are like under 100,000. It's crazy.
Wow. I mean, those are these are historic magazines that have.
When I was a kid, Manila, Time magazine and Newsweek each had a circulation of 25 million. Paid circulation. God. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Holy moly. Well,
yeah, they're monsters.
This is where the scientists broke the kissing news, Ted, was on Newsweek. Mm-hmm. The new research tracking mouth-to-mouth behavior that doesn't include food transfer. So food transfer doesn't count.
I guess it could involve both at the same time, but that would be kinky and gross.
No. Well, I'm not going to get it. There's been some wine transfer, like in, but okay, that's a different thing. So this does not in the animal kingdom. This does not involve mouth to mouth food transfer like mama birds to baby birds. So legitimate kissing, right? Legitimate kissing. They observed the behaviors in bonobos, chimps, and orangutans, and it suggests that kissing began in the great ape lineage between 21.5 and 16.9 million years ago. And the study even says that our Neanderthal cousins kissed too, likely. And the scientists used now, Ted, don't go looking for this on, like OnlyFans, but the scientists use primate videos, mm,
Kinky.
evolutionary models, and oral microbe clues to map the ancient love gesture.
What oral microbe clue? I want more detail.
Well, you have to read the article in Newsweek because it's a whole thing with scientific information and like it's like a feature story, like 1,600 words, long story. So if you guys want to know about kissing, then head over there because the scientists spill the beans about oral microbes and stuff that you're swishing around and exchanging.
I wonder if kissing, like as we call it stupidly or did when I was a kid, French kissing is and there's a kind of a dumb Debbie Harry solo song called French Kissing in the USA. Although she's great, but everybody can make mistakes. But what is French kissing universally? Is it a universal practice? Is it something that people kiss with the tongue everywhere in the world, or is it more so in Luxembourg and less in Liechtenstein?
No, I didn't see in the article that they covered specifically like French kissing, but they said
because we distinguish between lip kissing and French kissing.
Yes, so they said while kissing may seem like an ordinary or universal behavior, it is only documented in 46% of human cultures.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So
does that
again,
represent 46% of human population? I'm sorry for all these questions, cultures. But I can't help it.
I don't know. I'm not the kissing expert. Not personally.
I don't mean to imply that you are. I'm just wondering if you know this since you read this story.
I read the story, but I didn't see. Yeah, they have a lot of quotes from the scientists and whatever. So if you guys want to know all the gritty details, like it was like a worldwide thing. There's like biologists at Oxford
46% of cultures. That doesn't necessarily mean like if one of those cultures is China. Okay, that's a quarter of the population right there.
Yeah. So I don't know, it's 46%.
And also, is China considered one culture, or is it like dozens?
Right. Is it a monolithic? I don't know. So I don't know how they qualify.
But it's not universal. Is that's interesting, right?
Yeah, not universal. So there you go. Okay. Robbie says we got to pause for a word from our first sponsor before we jump into the actual exciting news. So if Robbie wants to go ahead and throw that on, I'll read it. But Ted, I gave you a special story just for you. You were talking about the Turkic cultures. We're going to go to Turkey.
Yes.
Well, not really, but I mean,
I would love that.
Linguistically, we're going to.
Don't tell John, but I do enjoy visiting Turkey.
Do you?
Yeah, it's nice there. I mean, what can I say?
Looks pretty. Okay. I guess I gotta
Istanbul
go to our sponsor
one of my
now.
favorite cities.
Okay, I gotta go to our sponsor now. Our first sponsor of the day. Here we go. All right. So you out there still haven't tried 1775 coffee? Now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped with only 1,000 units. You're getting the bold, dark roast that hits hard, the smooth medium roast that's smooth, and the Vitality mushroom coffee for clean energy and laser focus without the crash. All single origin, small batch, toxin free. I like that. And mold free. Nobody wants mold in their food or coffee.
That mold coffee is really overrated.
Mold coffee is bad.
I don't think it's even overrated at all.
Plus, you're getting a gold spoon clip because freedom isn't scooped with plastic, and a frother strong enough to stir up your coffee, and your mother-in-law's opinions right in time for Thanksgiving. And a black 1775 tumbler. $170 worth of coffee and gear, all yours for just $99. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up here on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it. Producer Robbie confirms it is. He is definitely a fan. Double thumbs up over there from the backstage. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something, just like Rumble does.
By the way, thank you for the comment field chats, for joining us over from Deprogram. He finally switched over. I hope he's still here. He said this is weird and exciting. Yes, that's exactly what we're striving for.
That's the vibe. That is the vibe of this show. So with that, Ted, let's jaws it and we'll get to the actual real first story. But it was breaking news, Ted, because everybody, like, kissing does so much good for you. You know that, right, Ted? Like,
well, yeah, you know, my
endorphins and
here, I shouldn't say this, but who cares? I will. My ex-wife, she had this weird thing where she was like the best French kisser, but she'd only do it during coitus. She wouldn't kiss at all or make out at all at any other time.
Huh.
So
only when you're about to get bedded.
Coitus, Robbie, is sexual intercourse. it's where it's
getting laid.
It's where the penis is all the way in there.
Well, I mean, Robbie, I assume he knows. He has 2 children. Yeah,
he's probably done this. Oh, no, not necessarily.
I think he's done it at least
twice. I don't judge. He could be an IVF dude. You don't know. Doesn't strike me as the IVF type, but you don't know.
I don't think so. I don't think so. So we know at least 2 times he's done it. At least twice.
At least twice, yeah.
Because we know his 2 children. So
yeah, my mom used to talk about her sex life with my dad, which was really something I wish she hadn't done. And she would
she's
say,
French.
And she would, yeah, good point. And she would say, like, oh, you know, it's like, suffice it to say, I was very fertile. And I'd be like, mm-hmm. And she'd be like, very fertile. Do you get it?
No, Ted, very fertile.
Shut up.
Your dad entered
I love to talk about sex.
No,
but not about my parents. No. That's
no kid. I don't care how old you are. Nobody wants to hear from their parents. I don't care if your parents look like Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. If you're those kids, you still do not want to hear it. It's still your parents.
Don't they just just get children by buying them?
They do, but they also have a couple of their own, like biological ones.
Right.
Because she was preggo a couple of times. But I think she bought a couple of them or whatever they did. Take them hostage or something. Because back then she was, like the wild and crazy Angelina. And then she appeared, she went on a trip, like a backpacking trip to Cambodia and appeared with a kid. Came back to the U.S. with a kid.
Thank you for the comment on Rumble. I've been on YouTube this whole time wondering why there weren't any chats, LOL. Well, there are chats on the YouTube. But the Rumble room is definitely, as Manila likes to say, spicier. And
it is spicy.
It's more vibrant. There's more going on the Rumble room.
Yes. I think broadly,
YouTube holds its own.
In our experience, I have seen that YouTubers are kind of creep watching, as I would call it. They creep watch only.
They're lurking.
They lurk. They're lurkers.
Yeah. They like to watch.
And the Rumblers. Yeah. Oh yeah. And the Rumblers like make their presence known. That's
Robbie does point out the fact that it was a YouTuber who doxed him, but don't hold all YouTubers responsible for the sins of one YouTuber.
There's a type. No, I agree, but there's a different.
I love you to YouTubers. I love you Rumblers equally because I'm the lefty, so I believe in equality and equity in all things. Not really, but I do. I definitely like both of them. I know your preference
for the Rumblers.
It's a good thing for you. You don't have multiple kids because you would let your kids know, like, yes, sorry, little Timmy, but yeah,
you kind of suck.
Yeah,
like you're just not as smart as your brother. Like your brother,
or as charming, cute, fun.
I fully expect you to live in my basement until I die.
You're my tard kid, so that's how it is.
I get it, and it's fine. Ted, we're just being real here. We're just being real.
No, that's what we do. All right, let's come on. We got to get to a story here. All right. This one's yours.
Real quick, you guys know already because it's been all over every media, alt media, mainstream media. So Congress approved a bill yesterday directing the DOJ to release so far unclassified files related to Jeffrey Epstein. The House passed the bill. I mean, it was whopping 427 to one standalone no vote, while the Senate agreed to deem the legislation passed as soon as it arrived to their chamber. They did. Donald Trump, who initially opposed the measure, is expected to sign it now. If he hasn't already, I don't know if MBS has left yet. I think they were partying late. You know, like they had the whole flyover big thing with MBS here. The Epstein Files Transparency Act is what it's called. Directs the Attorney General, which is
the transparent. Can we call it the Belated Transparency Act?
There's more to this, Ted. I'll get you my comments after this. So,
Go.
So it directs her to release records concerning Epstein, also concerning convicted sex trafficker to apparently nobody, according to Kash Patel, Ghislaine Maxwell. She's just in jail just because.
She's barely in jail. You're in as much jail as she is.
That's true. She gets personal time to get her walks in, get all her steps, and someone makes meals for her and shit.
That's great.
Yeah, at the what's it called? Byron prison or something in Texas. Brian? I don't know. It's like minimum security. They have a private gym. It's a camp. It's a camp cupcake. They have private gyms. They do work release. They're just chill. It's just like a ladies' camp.
You might run into Ghislaine at Wendy's. You don't know, that could happen.
They just have to return to their bunk at night. So that's where she's at.
Barely, unless they meet someone cute. In which case, they just call in hey, I met this cute guy. I'll be back. Don't worry, Mom. I'll be back by 6.
In Ghislaine's case, I don't know. I think she likes meeting young girls.
That's true.
There's that. And others referenced in Epstein's criminal activities. So they're supposed to release all the names, whatever. And information tied to ongoing investigations on containing sensitive victim data, though, can be withheld. Trump has urged the DOJ to investigate prominent Democrats.
Yeah, only Democrats. Partisan
and financial institutions for potential ties to Epstein, which we knew, Chase Manhattan Bank, for example, laundered a lot of, they say accidentally laundered money for Epstein. Accidentally.
As a former banker, let's just say, I don't want to say too much here. Let's just say that money laundering is a very common practice in American banking. Let's put it that way.
Well, yeah, at least when I was at Sputnik with Jamarl, he and I covered this because it was breaking with Chase Manhattan Bank and their private client service, as they call it for the well-to-do people.
Wasn't most of them. Yeah, I mean, it was Deutsche Bank was Trump's favorite bank, right?
For Trump? Oh, I don't know, but I know Epstein. Well, Epstein had many, and some of the Epstein victims, and I think including the late Virginia Giuffre, they were among a class action group suing Chase Bank, JP Morgan. I don't know if it was the JP Morgan side or Chase Manhattan side. Either way.
There's no division anymore.
Is there? Oh, there isn't. So that's who got sued, and they settled because they know that they did wrong because they never questioned Jeffrey Epstein.
Remember, when you settle,
about the money,
you don't officially admit wrongdoing. You just decided to move on.
That's right. They
Although
just wanted
in reality,
to,
you should never settle unless you really truly are guilty.
So they settled for hundreds of millions of dollars and told the women to go away, because what they were alleged to have done wrong was Epstein. They never questioned where this money came from, and every time
which they are supposed to do,
bulk amounts. 10,000 plus,
even small amounts, like relatively small. I sold my mom's house. Right?
What's relatively?
It wasn't
small?
An expensive house. It was $120,000 when I got the money when she died, and that, and like, when I deposited that money, the bank called and they were like, we need to know where this money came from. It's all part of the Patriot Act. They need to know.
That's right. Anything over $10,000, they need to be able, you need to show receipts.
Mm-hmm.
And they never did that with Jeffrey Epstein. So this push for transparency follows.
They just didn't give a shit. That's all.
Of course, everybody turned a blind eye and covered their ears and were like,
they wanted the deposits. That's all.
Give me your multi-million deposits and moving, 20 million here and then 5 million tomorrow. That's all they wanted.
Banking's a dirty business.
I know. And obviously the agent who opened the account for Epstein.
Actually, I shouldn't say that. Some banks really do play it really straight and don't do this shit. But the big ones do.
So this push for transparency follows the release of some 20,000 pages of Epstein-related documents last week, which I think so far have been a lot of nothing burgers other than the emails back and forth between the two Epstein brothers, which mentioned Trump. And they think it's alluding to Bill Clinton, but I think it's just two brothers talking shit. And the president maintains his friendship with Epstein ended in the early 2000s, which I actually believe because it seems that way in those emails. So long before Epstein's 2008 conviction.
This isn't about the president himself. This is about the president's associates and allies that he's obviously covering up for. I mean, look, we got to talk about,
whether he wants to or not,
Larry Summers, right? I mean,
so whether Trump wants to or not, but there are powers that be here in Washington that are going to force him to do the cover up. Like whether he wants to or not.
To do anything, but he's choosing to.
He's choosing to because I think there's a lot of reasons he can't say. It's an offer he cannot refuse. Let's just say that, I would say. But I do believe Trump's denial of him like having a fallout with Epstein like pretty early. Some of the emails would indicate that.
That happened. We know that to be true.
Yeah.
I mean, the timing might be a little fuzzy. That might be true. But
I don't think he's criminally indicated in any which way. I don't think we're going to find any kind of indication.
Yeah.
Implicated, sorry, yes. I don't think there's any indication in those emails that he did anything with a young girl.
No.
And in fact,
although
Virginia
he apparently
Giuffre's
may
brother,
have spent a considerable amount of time with one of them, right?
No, that's who I'm talking about. Virginia Giuffre.
Yeah.
But the confusion there, and her brother actually came out and said it, but he was also pissed that the government would imply her name, even though she's now deceased. Her brother came out and said, yeah, that's accurate, that it's most likely my sister because she worked at Mar-a-Lago, and that is where Ghislaine Maxwell poached her from. She poached her. She was like a locker room attendant, like you see, people at the gym, right? That are locker room attendants. They pick up towels and they clean the bathroom and whatever. Like
they pick up if someone drops the soap, they pick it up.
Maybe they assist you with the soap. But that's what Virginia Giuffre did when she was in high school, and that's how she met Ghislaine Maxwell. And so yes, did Donald Trump spend a considerable amount of time with her? Likely because he knew her from the club, and it's very possible that part of the fallout came from Ghislaine poaching all of his young women from like his workers from the club.
Yeah, he was displeased about that.
Yeah. And then there was like some real estate kerfuffle. I think that Trump wanted some property, and then I think Epstein, just to be a dick, wanted to buy it just to cuck him, and vice versa. And Trump not to be outdone because back then he was only a real estate mogul, right? Like that's his arena. He was like, oh, hell no, is Jeff going to get this property? Like I bid on the property. You're not going to outbid me. Like I'm going to outwheel and deal you. And I think that's where the big fight came from.
Yeah, that's how they were.
But that's
over some South Beach house.
Yeah, it's a property dispute. And people I've been a realtor, Ted. Oh my God, I can tell you how freaking catty people get over the stupidest things in property. Especially if you have two people trying to outbid each other, like when you're in a multiple offer position. I've seen people do some stupid shit. I've never worked with billionaires,
Finnish
but
Leica has a question. Do you think they've already
yes,
destroyed any Epstein evidence too sensitive for the donor class?
absolutely. And they're not
I don't
allowed.
think I don't think it's even hard. I mean, the problem is, as I was talking about on Deprogram earlier, this is digital information. Digital information is insanely easy to manipulate, and it's almost impossible to authenticate. So,
Right.
even if you look at the metadata, that's easy to change and edit too. So, I mean, the only way you could kind of indicate if the authenticity of something is if there were multiple copies in a bunch of places and you could compare it. But, by definition, if that were the case, we wouldn't need to see these documents, right? Because we would have already seen them. So yes, it's going to be, I think this stuff is sus for sure.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, this is a matter, at this point, it is a matter of public interest. And
oh, no question.
So many,
no, obviously,
so many
great
officials,
public interest.
So many officials from so many administrations and presidents themselves, like, hello, Bill Clinton, had so many ties to this then supposed couple, Ghislaine and Epstein. I think they were dating.
Couple. They
were
couple.
dating, right? Like,
no,
were they
clearly
posing
were
as dating?
They had orgies together. I mean, how much more couple could you possibly be?
That doesn't mean they're a couple. Just because you're like group banging doesn't mean you're like a couple.
Okay, but they lived together. I mean, she was his procurer, right? I mean,
yeah, but sometimes I just wonder if that was like a pedo version of like a beard,
or like a vampire's familiar.
I don't know that. What's that?
Oh,
What's
come on. You like horror movies. Don't you like vampire movies?
Yeah, but no, vampires aren't. No, it's not really my thing.
Okay, so in vampire lore, a vampire has a familiar because a vampire is vulnerable during the daytime hours.
Yeah.
So he gets a mortal to live with him or her, and basically, this is the person who like babysits the casket, so that no one comes by and stakes you while you're sleeping. Yeah.
Really? So it's like
a witch has a familiar too, right? Like a familiar, a witch has a familiar. It's often a cat or other animal, and that
alerts her.
That basically, her sidekick, her Clovis.
Oh, so I'm not saying that Jeffrey and Ghislaine didn't have romps. I'm not saying that.
Clearly, they had romps.
But I always assumed her role in his life was to play the beard, to make him look like he's with an age-appropriate woman, and a rich banker, and she's a socialite.
His girlfriend. What are you talking? I mean,
so I thought she was kind of his beard, but in reality,
it implies that he's like
not gay,
partnered with other people. But he's.
I'm saying it's a pedo version of a beard.
No, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. He was with her. They were monogamous, emotionally.
They were a gross couple, and
they were a yucky couple, and she would be like, for fun, be like, hey, so I brought some very unhappy drug addicted girls.
I found some 14-year-old runaways.
14-year-old tale for you. And we'll party this weekend. That's what it's like. It's sort of like a normal couple would be like, hey, I picked up back in the old days, I picked up a cool DVD for us to watch. It's like, this is like that. Like, hey, I stopped by the store and picked up a great steak you'll enjoy eating. Like that.
Like, ooh, our favorite champagne was on sale. Like, ooh.
Yeah, exactly, like that. Mm-hmm.
Let's have some fun. Ooh. Yeah, so I don't know, who knows, but that's what's going on. And here's the thing though, Ted, when the Senate approved this, they added some wording to the bill that would allow Pam Bondi to censor and redact to protect whatever they want to classify.
Sort of defeats the purpose, right?
Right.
Look, you're very young, but I remember with the Watergate tapes being revealed, it was a very similar process. I mean, President Nixon, it was kind of like, nobody knew these things existed. And then it was like, Alexander Butterfield, who was a low ranking White House official, languidly testifying in an unair conditioned Senate room in the summer of 1973, I believe it was, and everyone's just sleepily listening to him drone on, and then he just sort of goes, "So, according to the recording of the White House," and someone's like, "Wait, there was a recording of the White House?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, all the Oval Office stuff is tape recorded." And it's like someone's like, "It was?" And then you see all the reporters like pop up and run out the door to fight for the payphone, right? And it's like it's and then it's like he didn't want to release it, right? But once everyone found out that it existed, it was only a matter of time, and ultimately he did. And when he did, they were released with great fanfare. He held a press conference where there was a table of the recordings and the transcripts behind him, and then they were published in a book that became an instant overnight. I think it was the first overnight book in American history, where literally a major publishing house like Simon & Schuster or someone like Bantam, someone like that, immediately turned it around and had it out within nationally in every grocery store within days. And everyone was reading the White House tapes, and it became like there were so many jokes that came out of all the cover up. First of all, there were key names that were blacked out and redacted, and there were tons of explicit deleted because Nixon and his associates cursed so much, like every president and every politician. And it was, I think
today they wouldn't redact those.
I think that's right.
Cursing.
No,
but maybe back then.
Right.
Yeah. And that's how that was. Ted, by the way, can I just point out, I love that you think you call me young. I'm too young.
You're a child.
A kid at very 45. Mm-hmm. I love that. Thank you, Ted. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
But I always thought, okay, once I turned 30, people are going to respect me. Like they'll think I'm an adult. And granted, I looked younger than I was, like thanks Asian genes, but sometimes it backfires because you look younger than your years, and then people treat you accordingly because they think you're a kid, right? And it kept happening in that instance because I looked younger than I was, but you actually know me and you still think 45 is young.
Well, I mean, when you're 62, it is. I mean, it's funny. I don't feel 62, but I mean, I know I'm 62.
But I don't know. I guess the time.
I look in the mirror. I'm like, who the fuck is that? Who the fuck is that guy?
Well,
how did that happen?
Like cursing, as you pointed out, like in the White House tapes, which I didn't know that they had. I just didn't think people generally spoke that way, especially not in the White House back then. So I'm a little surprised.
God, they were foul.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I just thought society was a little politer, I guess. So like more polite. So I just didn't assume, especially given deference to the office of the presidency. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't have guessed that the redactions and the bleeps, the audible beep.
Oh, I mean, Manila, there were so many like funny things that came out of the White House tapes. Like, for example, there was some guy who published a book of he made poetry out of the White House tapes, and one of them became quite famous. It was called like something like "I Could Get $1 Million," and it's from a real rant where Nixon's talking about how he needs slush money, and he goes, "Oh, I could get $1 million. $1 million? I could get that. $1 million is something I could get." And it has a cadence that sort of sounds almost like Dr. Seuss. And it's
I bet that would make for a great like sample, like musically.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
Because he did have a weird tone and
I have $1 million. I could get $1 million. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think he's one of those people that kept the audible rolls of sound in his cheeks.
Well, people had, he had giant jowls of doom, and he was very like, I mean, look, he was kind of a funny guy without really wanting to be. But
I've never. If I remember to look it up, Ted, I'm going to try to remember if I hear beeps or redactions that might actually be why. Other than I thought, why
What do you mean,
haven't they just like
the
let it
Watergate
all?
tapes or the?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Like if there's anything bleeped out, that it's actually cursing, because that'll change your perspective.
Oh, they do that. They absolutely did that. Mhm.
That'll change your
But most
perspective.
people were reading the
So,
transcripts. They didn't have access to the audio. And of course,
oh,
there was
back
also
then.
there was the lore, not to be forgotten, of the 18 and a half minute gap. Do you know about that?
Mm-mm.
So there was a
Of audio?
the audio where suddenly it just goes, they're like, oh, well, we didn't have that. We couldn't get 18 and a half minutes went missing. So as you can imagine, Manila, people be suspicious, right?
Well, sure.
So people are like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean it's missing? And it turned out it was at a really key point that pretty much was going to directly implicate Nixon. So they're like,
Oh,
so they're kind of like, huh. And so basically it was like, well, how did this happen? The president, they blamed, and she took the fall, the president's secretary, Rosemary Woods. And she was like, oh, I accidentally erased that part. Like, blah, blah, blah. And so there's a hilarious photo of her demonstrating, like, it's like, well, what did you have to do? Because she had to it was a big recording device that was like the size of like a piano. And she had to like twist herself up, like to do contortions. She's like she's got one leg up and like and in order to do this, and she had to hold that position for 18 and a half minutes accidentally. And everyone's like, like, not really. Like, that didn't happen. You erased this on purpose. No question.
yeah. So that's lost forever then, obviously.
Oh, yeah, no one will ever know. Well, we know what was on it, but we'll never know what was on it.
Like we'll never hear what was, because like there's obviously, because it was tape back then.
Correct.
Yeah, so you can't. Yeah, there's no like forensic backtracking of digital. Yeah,
That would
not
be
gonna find it.
correct. Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's go on to our next fun story for Weird News Wednesday. Ted, this one was especially for you as
Thank
a
you. I appreciate you.
father of Clovis and a human.
All
I
right.
thought this would matter
As
to
part
you.
of a divorce agreement with his ex-wife, a Turkish man agreed to pay 10,000 liras, that's $240, every 3 months as child support for their 2 cats. Bugra B, who lives in Istanbul, filed for a mutually agreed upon divorce, amicable, with Esri B, citing severe incompatibility and a breakdown in the foundation of their marriage. The 2 parties have agreed to end their marriage and have not sought any compensation or alimony from one another, but they did include a rather peculiar protocol in their filing, which could impact the future divorces of pet-owning couples in the nation of Turkey. The document states that the husband transfers custody of their 2 cats to his wife and assumes financial obligations for their maintenance. The parties have agreed that the 2 cats belonging to Bugra B will remain with Ezra B as long as the cats remain with Ezra B, and in any case for up to 10 years. Bugra B will pay 10,000 lira per month quarterly to Ezra B for the cat's care expenses, the divorce settlement reads. After the divorce is finalized, this rate will be increased annually by the Consumer Price Index determined by TUIK. I guess that's the equivalent of the Bureau of Labor Statistics for Turkey. In Turkey, this agreement is already being called a new example of a new type of alimony, catamony, which could set a precedent for the financial support of pets following a divorce.
Precedent setting, Ted. Like,
yes,
and we talk about
and rightly
Turkey
so.
being like kind of weird and backwards and whatever. I think, look, we've covered a couple of Turkish court cases, which, like the one a couple weeks ago, the couple, like what was it? The woman, no, not the Korean. There was something really funny that we covered a couple weeks ago, but anyway, I think this is precedent setting, because how many times have we heard about American couples fighting over a pet, right?
Of
Like
course.
that happens. So,
and I guess for some reason this guy wasn't able to take one of the cats.
Maybe he travels a lot.
Or maybe,
for work.
maybe he
Wait,
travels a
you
lot.
would split up the cats? No.
Or maybe, maybe you Solomonically split them up. Or maybe they're two cats that really are friends and they need to be together.
No,
Or they're siblings.
cats.
That can happen.
You
So there's some important stuff
up.
to understand here. First of all, Turkey is very cat crazy. The Mediterranean countries are wild about cats. Greece, Turkey. In fact, the Greeks and the Turks could resolve a lot of their problems getting along if they just bonded over cats, because they both love cats. And I think that's an important point of commonality between the two of them. The other thing is $80 a month seems like a lot of money. I mean, it's $40 per cat per month. I don't know that I spend $40 a month on Clovis. Oh, maybe I do. The litter can get really expensive.
Maybe we don't know what the cost. Maybe cat food is really expensive in Turkey or something.
I bet it's not the food. I bet it's the litter. Litter's more expensive than food.
And they have like crazy inflation.
Yeah, they do. Like over 100% per year.
So, well, I thought this story was a little important for the rest of the world because we're all very familiar about couples fighting over kids and how much child support should be paid and blah blah blah. And I did a whole
this makes sense to me. Doesn't it make sense to you? I mean, it's
like, of course.
Look, this is an obligation that you undertook together, and now you have to unwind it with the dissolution of your marriage.
Yes.
Makes perfect sense to me.
Like, you have kids together, you have pets together. Like, you need to account for the pets, like pets are not cheap. And especially like if they get older and they have special needs, they need medicine, they need vet care.
By the way, what if it's like this is like, okay, with a cat or a dog, roughly you're looking at a 15-year time span at most, right? Typically.
Okay.
But imagine if you had like a Galapagos turtle as a pet, or imagine if you had
will outlive you.
Well, yeah, or like a or a parrot. Parrots can outlive you easily.
Yeah. But even still, like, I think that is precedent setting in Turkey, and I think American laws should follow suit, because look how pet crazy we are in the US, right? Like, the pet industry is a multi-billion-dollar a year industry. People call them their fur babies.
Yeah, I hate that.
And they try to take them
really dumb.
on the flights with them. I know.
Just stop.
No, I get it. I had I mentioned my beautiful tall Latina girlfriend back home, the TV gal back home. She that eventually got married, but anyway, she had a little dog for like, I think he lived to be like 18, like a little Yorkie, like Robbie's. He lived to be very old. I guess the Yorkies tend to live a long time.
Thousands of years.
They live a lot, but that was her fur baby, man. Like, she didn't have children.
Like, first of all, let me just say, having had cats and a kid, it's not the same. I have childless friends who are like, it's exactly the same. Like, no, it's really
not. No, it's not.
It's really
not. It's really, really not. However, I don't want to dismiss how those people, like my friend, like my girlfriend, how much she loved her dog. I'm not dismissive, because for her, she'll never know. But had she had,
let's diss her here on the air.
No, had she been in a relationship when she had that dog lived to be 18, man. And
that's a long time.
The partner, if she had a boyfriend that at the time of adopting or buying the dog, they should also be responsible for that pet, because you entered into that adoption, adoption together. And pets are not cheap. People, like, now there's pet insurance in the US.
Obviously, if you're talking about like a fish or something, like whatever.
No, but I don't think in the US I don't think our laws protect animals in the way, like, I don't think we define it the same way as I guess Turkish law defines how you get catamony or petamony
Yeah.
for.
And by the way, cats are like gods in Turkey and Greece and places like that. Like basically, like, you know, like there's tons.
So they're not a belonging over there. Like in the U.S., your pet is a belonging. It's a.
Oh no, cats are. I don't know if they treat it as belonging
like,
legally, but I mean certainly,
like
for
earbuds,
example,
you know, like,
public. Everybody in Istanbul leaves like a bowl of food and water out.
I've heard that.
For the cats out on the street, even if they don't personally own a cat. And cats come and go as they please. If you go to a public park in Istanbul, cats will like leap up into your lap. Like there's like, you're kind of like not allowed to be like, I'm allergic to cats. Like, fuck off. Like whatever, it's just die then. It's like you have to be like, by the way, we have another ad. So please go ahead.
And shout out, and yeah, we'll do that. And shout out to our friend Ray in the Rumble chat. He's gifting a free subscription to the TMI show to, I don't know how this works. Like the next random person that pops up that's not.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. I do not know.
But he's gifting. Thank you, Ray, for the generosity of sharing with your friends.
For sure. How old? Martina asks, how old do I feel? No, it's a good question. I feel like I'm about 28 or 30.
Having been already 28 and 30, so you think you kind of stopped there in the?
No, I kind of feel like I just aged really. I aged faster than my mental age is slower than my physical age. So I definitely feel old. I don't feel like 17, but you know, I don't think I ever hit feeling like, oh, I'm 40, like a 40-year-old. Like I want to join the country club, and you know, I don't know. It's like none of that shit.
I do.
I still wear black. I still wear black skinny jeans. I still live. Well, I still listen to punk rock.
I do all that.
I still
do all of that.
You know,
I do all of that. However, yeah, I mean, I pick up my kid like at home? Blasting Rage Against the. Yeah, I was blasting Rage Against the Machine this weekend for my kid, and he likes it. I wake him up sometimes if he refuses to wake up, and I play System of a Down. Wake up! Put on makeup.
That's awesome.
And he's
good for you.
You get blast like, get up! Time for school. Wake up!
The fuck up.
Yeah. So that's what happened. I still wear ripped jeans and like checkered Vans, like, but that's how I appear. That's not how I feel. Oh, we gotta go to ads. So there's that.
Go, run like the wind. Go.
Me do. Okay. All right. So speaking of feeling young, all right, outdoor crew. If you're into fishing, camping, or getting off the grid, meet your new best friend, the Hunter Orange 25-quart cooler from Caddis Sports. This isn't your average cooler. It's roto-molded for max durability, bear-proof, and 20% lighter than other brands. So we don't want bears in there. So it's easy to haul. Bears. It's easy to haul, whether you're deep in the backcountry or just getting up at the dock. You'll get up to 3 days of ice retention thanks to thick, high-performance insulation. That means cold drinks, fresh food, and fewer ice runs, whether you're chasing muttons offshore or posted up at a campsite. Best part, it's 40 to 50% cheaper than the big name coolers, but still built to perform season after season. And like all Caddis Sports name brand gear, it's proudly made right here in the US of A. Use code RUMBLE at checkout for your 10% off order today. That's CaddisSports.com. Go grab the Hunter Orange 25-quart cooler and keep your next adventure ice cold.
I have a question about this product. When they say it's bear proof, to me that implies that it keeps bears out. Yeah. But does it keep the smell from getting out? Because that's the real danger when you have like bears be coming to your campsite, and you don't want that. So like, is it?
Robbie knows about bears. I don't know.
Is it odor proof?
No, it's not.
It can't be, right?
It's not.
So what do? Do you tie it up? Do you tie it up in a tree so that like basically?
What?
Right? Yep. You hoist it. So what you do is that you get a rope, and then you throw it over a limb, and then what you do is that you raise it off the ground by about 8 to 10 feet.
Just out of
bear range. Because if it's on the ground, That bear is going to come. It's going to eat whatever is edible there, including you. So
it would probably be better at that rate if it's on the ground. Be probably better for it to be open, so that the bear eats that.
It easily gets. Oh, interesting. I never heard that.
Because if it comes down between the bear eating you or eating your sandwich, it's better for the bear to eat your sandwich. But no, seriously,
unless you really love your sandwich and you're willing to die for it, which
bears don't climb. Then
they can.
Well, that's why you throw over the limb, because bears are heavy, so they're not going to try to climb on a limb because they know the limb is going to break and tear them down with them. Okay. So they're not stupid.
No,
I don't know. I'm a city girl. I have no experience with hiding my food from Winnie the Pooh. So
that's what you do. I mean, honestly, you throw a rope over a limb, and then you pull it down. You tie. Same with your backpacks. Yeah. If you have snacks in your backpacks, you tie everything to this rope, and then you hoist it up.
Should have gone to Girl Scouts.
If you don't, that bear's like a couple of years ago, a bear went into a town. I think it was Laurel. I could be wrong about the name of the town. There's some people camping by the post office, and the bear attacked the campers, killed the camper from California, took her stuff right there in the front yard of the post office. Montana will kill you if you don't shoot it with the proper respect.
Good to see. This is news you can use. Life lessons.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Hoist your cooler.
No. Oh yeah, no. And this is a good idea to do, even if you're not in bear country, because there's raccoons and they will, and similar thing, right?
Yeah, but those little bastards can climb, and they can open.
Yeah, again, but they can't get all. If you do it over a limb that's like thin enough. Raccoons also they're obviously not as heavy as bears, but the point is they still can't go all the way out on a limb without falling.
Yeah. Yeah. And Well-Dressed Nerd, thank you for the $5 donation. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
System of the Down, Aerials. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. I wake up my son to that stuff. So yes, as I was saying, even though I am of a more mature age, I'm very immature.
How old do you feel?
But I still feel.
Do you feel your age?
I guess relative. No, I don't know. Physically, I feel like I physically feel definitely 40. Like I slept wrong.
Sometimes I feel 100.
Well, yeah, there's those days. Robbie says he feels 15 mentally. Look, I have this particular weird space pillow. I call it a space pillow that I use, and it's like weird and molded a certain way because I'm a back sleeper, and I sleep. I've told you, even though I'm not into vampires, I sleep like
just arms at your side.
I'm just like
she has risen from the grave.
It's true, but mostly my arms are at my side and kind of I look. It's creepy to say, but I look the way the people at the morgue place people in caskets. With my hands.
So you're ready to die.
So I sleep like that. So anyway, after I turned 40, it's treacherous. You can sleep wrong and you can dislocate 3 vertebrae in your neck. That's basically what happened to me after I turned 40.
Finnish Leica with lots of good comments today says researchers have found out that raccoons are domesticating themselves. That's true. They're becoming more likable, more like pets in order to appeal more to Americans. That's happened in the New York area.
Yeah, I have a couple twin raccoons that come here and steal cats' food. The outdoor cat that we kind of take care of.
Raccoons are
fucking
incredibly smart. Yeah.
They're really cute and smart when they're little. They were these cute little, I don't know what happened to their mama, but they were 2 little twin furball raccoons, and they would come steal that outdoor cat that we adopted. They would come steal her food, and they're cute little twin furballs. And so we watched them, and they would come because her food is right outside our back door, and they would come to the sliding glass window and just be, and then they clean their hands in her water and pick up food, and they're so cute. And my son wanted to open the door. He's like, I want to pet them. No, we're not. No, but they really are so cute, and they're just hanging out in the backyard and right there, right outside the door, just really cute with their little posable thumbs. But anyway, all right, next story. We'll breeze through this. This one is more doomsday stuff, Ted. So meet digital Earth, the simulation that tries to see disasters before they actually hit. So imagine a virtual planet so real that you could follow a single raindrop or a whirlwind across the globe. That's the ambitious.
That's not real. I don't even. That's not true. I can't follow a single raindrop across this world. I don't know what they're talking about. That's strangely written. I'm sorry.
I have a link to the article. You can look at it. It's from Vice.
Granular would be a better word than real. Okay. It's just
so it says the ambitious new climate model developed by scientists using the ICON framework, and it promises to rewrite the rules of disaster prediction, developed by the Max Planck Institute and supercharged on Europe's fastest supercomputers. This simulation divides Earth into 672 million cells, each representing air, water, or land. Every second,
where's fire? The fourth element.
Do you remember? Oh, you weren't talking about the band.
No.
Every second, those cells are running calculations on temperature, wind, energy flow, and more. Suddenly, global simulation isn't just a buzzword. Here's how it works. Decades old.
Is global simulation a buzzword?
I didn't know that.
No, it's not. It said nobody ever.
I don't know
global simulation.
Global simulation.
This is strangely written. Whoever wrote this needs to go back to journalism school. Anyway,
decades old Fortran, not 4chan, folks. Fortran, TRAN. Fortran climate code was overhauled.
Well, let me fill you in, child. Okay, so Fortran 77 is a programming language from the 1980s. And in fact, something I still remember like it was yesterday. I learned.
This is a real thing.
It's a programming. Yeah, it's old. And it's a programming language like C++ or something like that.
Okay, this helps it make more sense to me now.
It's not used anymore, of course. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so this helps it make more sense.
By the way, a great language.
Fortran.
It's very mathematical.
Fortran climate code. Oh, so coding. Okay, now this makes more sense to me. Decades old Fortran climate code was overhauled using a modern data-centric parallel programming framework. The project tapped more than 20,000 high-end processor chips, including NVIDIA's GH200 Grace Hopper.
Why do we care about the type of chip?
I don't know. I guess it's process. I don't know. The result: 4.5 months of global weather modeled in just 24 hours. This leap matters because traditional weather and climate models operate at resolutions spanning tens of kilometers. That's great for storms you already know about, but bad for the kind that pop up unexpectedly and rearrange coasts, skies, and lives. The new model runs at a 1 kilometer scale, allowing unprecedented detail. The birth of a thunderstorm, the path of a single cloud, that's all now visible. In practical terms, scientists say this digital twin is what they're calling it.
And that is how it, like when you drive in a place where you have a wide, expansive view, you know how you can see like a storm cloud. On the horizon or whatever, or you can drive through a little cloud burst, and it's like there and it's not. Like
you see
those wouldn't show up on the old model, so that's cool.
So the scientists say this is a digital twin that could help us pinpoint climate and weather threats hours or even days before the destruction can actually begin. So floods, landslides, wildfires, the scales and contexts that usually blur out now get some clarity. So this model isn't heading to our phones just yet. The computing muscle it demands is massive, and the data pipeline is still groaning and lagging on that, I guess. Plus, the bigger question looms: having maps of disaster is one thing, but acting on them is another. As the team of scientists admit, simulating Earth is the easy part. Getting humanity to listen is the hard part. So in short, if you thought weather forecasting had peaked, think again. We're entering a new era where science doesn't just follow disasters, it tries to outrun them. A digital Earth has now been built. So I think people would take heed, Ted, if somehow it was like you can go to an app that can watch their supercomputer the way we do like Panda Cam at the National Zoo. I think people would, if you know a flood is imminent, of course you would like move inland, right?
Yeah, because no doubt, Manila, it's just like in Texas Hill Country when they got existing warnings of those flash floods and they were told the big water is coming. They just leapt right into, no, they didn't leap into action at all. Manila, you are hilarious.
Christian camp.
We don't listen. Some of the time people listen. Look, when you get a warning, just think about what you do at home if you're like, say, your fire alarm goes off. Do you really necessarily think the house is on fire? Probably not. It's probably just because someone burnt toast. And so you just don't worry about it.
I go look.
But most of the problem with our society, the problem with warnings is we have the boy who cried wolf thing, right? Everything warns you. If you fail to close your refrigerator door all the way, it beeps incessantly. If the fire alarm goes off, the odds are it's not that you have a fire. The odds are that the battery is low and needs to be replaced, which apparently only is programmed to tell you at 3:00 in the morning. There's also
but this is like life-threatening weather disaster coming.
No, what it is like possibly life-threatening. So it's sort of the same way that like Floridians get tornado warnings. Hurricane warnings every year. Evacuate the coast. The big one's coming. It went to South Carolina. Sorry. And it's like people who do that.
But the scientists here say that it's not like that. That this is like, it will happen. It's not.
Well,
it's not like
100%
Tom reading prediction.
Manila.
That's what they're saying.
That's not true.
Max Planck Institute is
100% Max Planck.
No, I agree.
So the point is that
Max Planck Institute is a thing,
I know, but it's like, but the point is, all I'm saying is that our society gives people too many warnings, and so we have a tendency to sort of tune them out. So I think what would have to happen there would have to be a bunch of disasters that go unheeded with a lot of people dying. Thousands of people have to die. And then after a while, it's like, okay, guys, we got the last 300 of them right. And people would be like, then they would start to listen. But we're going to have to go through that process first.
Well,
we're going to need some climate model martyrs to teach to teach people a new way of living.
You're with this naysayer scientist saying, the easy part is the science thing we just did, the prediction. It's like getting people to listen. Yeah, that's the hard part.
Yeah, getting people to listen. And it's like, it's not because people are tards. People, don't get me wrong, people are tards, but like not in this respect. People learn that most things that they think are terrifying, like most of the time when a light goes on your dash of your car, it just means you're due for your like oil change, or you have like, you're due for your 60,000 mile checkup. It doesn't mean the car's about to explode. And so like people learn to tune this shit out. That's
unfortunately with weather, I just feel like, I don't know, maybe it's I'm a Californian and weather is an anomaly.
Don't have weather.
We don't have weather. So when I get a warning like thunderstorm warning, severe lightning and whatever, and I'm like, oh my God. So I'm still like that. I'm like, batten down the house. You guys are cute. Close all the blinds.
You guys are very funny and cute.
I've been here almost 12 years. Almost 12 years. And every time I get one of those warnings, I'm like, grab my son, stay away from the windows. Thunderstorm is coming. That's me. I'm not going to be swept out reasonable. To sea, Ted. Mm-hmm. I am not going to get swept out to sea. And let me say, for all of us dumb Californians, because we don't know anything about weather, we are native to the ocean life. And every freaking year when like a storm is brewing out in the Pacific and it says high tide, like abnormally high tide, get the fuck off the ocean, get the fuck off the beach. Like it never fails. every year, and very recently this weekend, unfortunately, there were big storms and big waves coming, and they were warned for an hour that it was coming. And this young family with a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, a husband and a wife, the little 5-year-old girl gets swept out to sea. Dad jumps in after her. Dad dies first. Then they finally found the little girl's body yesterday.
That's terrible.
And they got a freaking warning that the waves are imminent. Do not be on the shore. And they're like, oh, we're going to go climbing around on the rocks. Like, dude, you're a Californian. You know that this happens, right? Like, we know the ocean sweeps people out.
Well, it really happens a lot in that Central Valley.
This is up just past the Central Coast.
Right.
Just past the Central, just north of the Central Coast.
That happens a lot there, those quote unquote rogue waves.
Yeah. But no, this was like we were having storms in California this past weekend, like massive rains, like 6 inches dumped in like 1 hour, like crazy. Why are you taking your 5-year-old and your 2-year-old to like, like the side of the bay and climbing on rocks? Maybe not very smart. And now dad and daughter are dead, but they got a warning saying huge storms, beach alert, don't go there. And they still went there. So anyway, that sucks. That's crappy news. Okay, last story. This one's yours. You wanted to cover this one. Maybe you're thinking of somebody, Ted. I don't know.
Here we go. We drift apart. New cities, new jobs, growing workloads. Yet a surge of stories shows that going back and reaching out to friends from your past isn't just nostalgia. It might be good for your emotional wellness. 6 adults recently shared with the AP how childhood or long-term friendships faded away and how reconnecting reignited something both meaningful and missing. For example, Jennifer Lee Austin and her second grade best friend Molly, who went decades without contact after Austin's family moved to Germany. At the age of 51, Austin put in a call. Now they're back in each other's lives. Strong friendships really do stay for the long haul, she says. But it's not just personal stories. Psychologist Marissa Franco says rising adult loneliness is partly to blame on modern life. Smartphones, remote work, and constant busyness deepen the disconnection. According to Franco, many avoid reconnecting because they're afraid of rejection. But probably you don't have to worry. People are delighted to hear from their old friends, she says. For example, Heather Robb and Lane DePasquantonio were inseparable in their 20s, drifted apart during parenting and moving across country from each other, and only reconnected when Robb traveled to Denver. Fatigue, distance, and scrolling highlight reels all played a role in their separation. Renia Dominguez, as a teenager, moved away from Long Island to Brooklyn and lost touch with her best friend, but she texted one day, worried that they wouldn't reply. They did, and now they're talking to each other every month. Andrew Snyder keeps a decades-long friendship alive despite a distance of hundreds of miles, calling monthly and seeing each other several times a year. It matters. Kim Ventruska, 22 years old, lost her friendship when life got messy, but still recommends the outreach. The worst that can happen, it's just left on red. Franco suggests a simple formula to reconnect. Choose a shared memory. Remember that time that we murdered someone and buried them in a shallow grave in the forest? Send a message, propose a chat, or meet up. This pic came up, and I just realized I wanted to check in on you. That she says, I got to say, I would hate that personally. Like, that's so like gay. I would really much rather, like, I like to hear from an old friend, but it'd be more like, hey, Ted, what's going on? Just thinking of you. That's fine. Don't have to be like, oh, I noticed this flower pot, and the flower pot was in the shape of your cat, and your cat made me think of you. Like, no, I don't need to hear any of that stuff. The bottom line, reconnecting might feel awkward, but it's proven worth it. As adult life pressurizes our social circles, reaching out could be the key, not just to nostalgia, but to emotional grounding. Whether it's catching up over coffee or scheduling a phone date, or as the Brits say, scheduling a phone date, the message is clear. Your old friends might still matter. I'm pretty good at keeping in touch with people who I haven't seen in a long time, and it is very satisfying, and reconnecting with people who, but I don't do it just because, it's like, it's got to literally be like someone who I actually miss the value in the friendship. If it's like just sort of like I was always making all the effort, and like I don't want to go back to that again or something. I'm not going to do it.
I agree, because I've seen, like conversely, I've seen other scientific studies about like when to dump friends.
Mm.
And so I'm somebody, I have friends that I'm still friends with from like kindergarten. And I still once in a while think of this, my very first friend at preschool. My best friend, Tina. She is literally my best friend since we lived across the street from each other since I was like 4 years old, since we were old enough to cross the street and play together. She's still my best friend. She is my son's godmother. She's my sister, like been through life's up and downs and all together, lifelong friends. I still have friends, like super old friends. I'm very good at keeping in touch with friends that I've picked up along the way. And I think that's part of what keeps me very grounded and like real, especially because some of my friends are still, back home in Whittier. And I try to see them when I go back. Sometimes I arrange when I go home, I'll put it up on my Instagram or my Facebook or whatever and say, hey, I'm going to be at such and such, this old dive bar at this time. Would love to see you. If you're on my friends list here and you can see it, come. Would love to see you, and it's so great, even if I only get to spend 30 seconds talking to one person, but people tend to know each other, right? And then they make new friends, and I think that's a wonderful thing. I have a healthy social circle. I have girlfriends that I have are some of my best friends that I've known since middle school. We'll just randomly text throughout the week. Like I just watched Welcome to Derry, right? I just saw episode 4. But I texted, I was like, hey, I just saw this or whatever. I was like, have you seen it? That's it. Just like random. We just keep in touch that way, and she answers when she can. Sometimes it's hours later. Sometimes it's tomorrow, and vice versa. I'll answer. And then I was just debating with her and she was saying, I think it's too slow and it's not scary enough. And I was like, slow? What the hell are you talking about? This, and it's just, it doesn't have to be a deep, meaningful, like, remember that time when we were 14 years old and we were going to run away like Mark Twain and go on a river raft down the San Gabriel River and float ourselves down the shit creek into the Pacific Ocean? It's not like that. It's just, you can just keep in touch with something as trivial as like, hey, have you seen this new whatever? Or like, and I really think it does help boost your spirits. So I would have to agree, especially now with the holidays coming up, and holiday loneliness. I know it's a big thing, right? Like out in America, like Americans are lonely, Ted. We have more ways to connect with one another, but we're not connecting. We have social media, but we're not connecting. And everything is trivial and surface. So I think this is a great thing. Like, you should read more tips, on how to, if there's somebody that's been on your mind, reach out to them. Don't be all hesitant and weird. Just shoot a text like, hey, have you seen?
Remember that death cult we were both involved in?
Yeah.
Wasn't that fun?
Like, why not? Like, remember when we escaped that drive-by shooting?
Remember that time? Remember that Epstein party we both attended? How fun that was.
That's what I'm saying. That's all you got. That's all you got to do. It doesn't have to be some deep, meaningful thing. And like that, the wisdom of the 22-year-old girl. Worst thing that can happen, Ted, is they just leave you on red and they leave you hanging.
I think aside from friendship, that is a really good way to think of things. Like, for example, if you're applying for a job or whatever, or it's like, don't worry about like being dissed. The worst thing that anyone can tell you is no. That's the worst thing. It really doesn't hurt to ask.
Yes, Matina in the Rumble chat says, but the more time that passes, the more awkward it feels to reconnect. And so she says she
Sure.
needs this tip. I assume Matina is a female, but I think yes, it can seem awkward. There's one person in particular, a girlfriend I've had since elementary school, primary school. But she kind of unfriended me, Ted, during COVID because I wasn't part of the COVID cult.
Oh,
somebody literally
was it part of the whole like the vaccination stuff?
Yes, because I wasn't all getting like foaming at the mouth about COVID. And then I wasn't in the first go round of Trump. I wasn't foaming at the mouth with TDS. And then she said that, like, I don't know, she didn't say directly, but she was getting very hostile to me on social media, which she'd never. This is a girl I've known since I was 6 years old. And she just stopped talking to me.
You would have to,
COVID era.
And look, I can't tell you what to do. I know that if I were in that situation, all I can tell you is I would think to myself, I have friends who basically stopped talking to me for various reasons. And, and some of them are dumb on their part. And so then I have to kind of be like, I have to weigh the fact that I miss them against the fact that I don't miss the fact that they're a retard. And like, and it's kind of like if someone is a retard, like your friend's a retard, they were a retard.
Right.
I gotta say, I would have trouble. I probably wouldn't reach out to her just because I'd be like, if she did something like that once, she could do something analogous in the future. Right. Now, I would feel very differently, however, if she were to contact me and say, Manila, I thought about what I did and I was really stupid and I'm sorry.
Right.
That would be very different. But because it's like, I would feel like because she did something that was incorrect, she kind of owes you.
And she was right.
Yeah.
She was trying to like publicly shame me. So I inboxed her and then privately.
By the way, I have a serious problem with that.
That's really shitty,
if you
right?
publicly humiliate me, we're probably never going to talk again.
Right. And so then I tried to inbox her and then I tried to text her because this is somebody I've been friends with since I was 6 years old.
The other day, I came across an apology letter from a fellow cartoonist who we'll call Carol because her name is Carol. And she was apologizing. She had humiliated me in a public forum, but she wrote me a private apology by snail mail. And in fact, I kept it. I usually throw my mail away, but I kept it because I thought, I might need this someday. If she ever fucks me, I'll have this and I'll be able to show everyone like what a conniving crone she is. But the point is that like I didn't and I wouldn't. The truth is, but she should have apologized in public. She humiliated me in public. Right. She should apologize in public, and then we could, maybe talk. But like, no.
So you think that it's like I don't know how else to compare it other than eye for an eye. But if you do a public humiliation, you should do a public apology.
100%. Like, let's just say I were to break with you, Manila, and say, Manila Chan is blah, blah, blah. And I went on X and I did that.
Manila is such an asshole.
And then, like, is it cool if I come back and I'm like, I'm so sorry. But just between the two of us, like, what good does that do you? I mean, it barely does you any good if I go on Twitter and I say, I'm so fucking sorry for what I said about Manila Chan.
Like
I'm an
public
asshole.
Apology.
Mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. Even that's barely does you any good because most of the people who read the original thing will never read your retraction. But it's pretty much the only thing you can do. It's the best you can do.
But it should be followed up with the public mea culpa and then a private.
Both.
Right.
And it should be really fulsome. I mean, like if you did that because of the fact that people, it's like if the LA Times we were negotiating for settlement. They asked to settle. And I was like going with the European model. In Europe, if you libel someone, let's say you libel them in a 1,000 word piece in a newspaper, the court will say the retraction must be written at the same or greater level of prominence as the initial smear. So let's say the original article appeared over the fold on page 3 in Le Monde. Then Le Monde can't run it on page 3 below the fold. And it can't be 700 words instead of 1,000 words. It's got to be more and bigger prominence or the same. So they can run at page 3, 1,000 words, no problem. They can't run it on a Tuesday when it ran originally on the big Sunday paper. So it's like that, right? So I think that's a really good rule. And I remember telling the LA Times that. I was like, well, you smeared me in 3,200 words on the editorial page. So I want to be de-smeared in 3,200 words or more on the editorial page. And they just wouldn't do it. They were like, we'll give you like 2 sentences on the corrections page. It's like, like that's not going to work. And like, so I think like if someone smears you in a public forum or they hurt you in a public forum, they've got to retract, and it's got to be like really over the top. Otherwise, like and even there, you have no obligation to forgive them, but maybe you can forgive them. But like, you know what I mean?
Well,
and that's why it's better in general. Not, by the way, you should generally avoid smearing people in a public forum. Like if you're mad at them because they're not vaccinated or whatever, like I'm like I know lots of people
I would take it up personally if it's somebody I know. Yeah. I mean, if it's some fucking stranger or whatever, like, I don't tend to engage anyway. But
it's like Kara Swisher ratted out Nutsi, right? And,
Olivia, what's her face?
Yeah, Olivia Nutsi. And like and by the way, why is it, if your name is Nuzzi, why do you date a dude named Luzza? I mean, that's too many Z's in one couple. Anyway, the point is that it's like there's this all played out in public. And she
went out for pizza.
She ratted out. So just think about all the ratting that happened in public. So Kara Swisher,
I don't like that.
Bitch rats out Olivia Nutsi. Then Olivia Nutsi rats out RFK Jr. about their affair of the heart in public in an article, and then a book, and then her former fiance, who she cheated on, kind of cheated on. Rats her
emotionally
out.
Cheated on
her emotional cheating. He rats her out on his Substack. So much ratting, all rats. They should all be killed.
So none of these people confronted each other personally.
No, they're all a bunch of little assholes. And like basically, it's like
that's not okay.
Yeah, not to mention like, I mean, I don't know. RFK Jr. he wronged. Cheryl Hines. But that's the only person who's owed an explanation here.
She's the innocent bystander.
Liza is owed an explanation from Nutsi, but otherwise, like, and Kara Swisher, it's not her business at all.
Like, what kind of friend are you?
Yeah. Kara Swisher was literally like, oh, it was a conflict of interest at her job. Yes, it was, and it's wrong, and it's not.
Take it up with your friend.
It's not your fucking business.
Take it up with your friend privately. That was the thing. That's why I was very offended. And I thought I did the right thing by trying to reach out to her, inboxing private. And then when she didn't respond, I texted because she said she had posted something about COVID. And I just responded, like, I think, like if you want the vaccine and whatever, like, and this is 2021.
Have a good time. Yeah.
Right. Go for it. Like, I don't see. If you want to do it,
that was your attitude. Yeah, your attitude wasn't like, oh, if you shouldn't, no one should do it.
No, it was just, if you think that's right for you, then do that. If you want to dye your hair blonde, shave it all off and dye it blonde like Cisco, the thong. Do it. Like, do I think would I want to shave off my head, buzz it short and dye it blonde like a la Jada Pinkett? Probably not. But if you want to do that, go for it.
Yep.
That's basically what I said on her Facebook. And she blasted me and then continued to blast me in a second post to say, it's because, you like, at the time I wasn't sufficiently anti-Trump. Because I'm not anti anybody really. I mean, maybe a little bit Biden Harris, but I have a personal axe to grind. As do you. But, outside of that, I'm not anti anybody unless I have a personal axe to grind. And so at the time in 2020 or 2021, why would I have had an axe to grind on Donald Trump. He's a politician and he's whatever. Like, but because she's a California liberal,
I have to say, I don't get that.
We never made amends.
I had Bush derangement syndrome. I hated him. I look back on it, I'm like, it didn't make for good cartooning or for good writing, because in America, that doesn't land well. I mean, we our culture requires sort of like a more takedowns are best delivered like droll and calm. It's our culture. But anyway, the point is, even back then, I didn't get mad at people who liked Bush or who, or who didn't hate him or whatever. I mean, it's like, it was my thing. It's like, it's my jihad to have. And like, it's like, if you do your jihad and I'll do my jihad. And like, seriously, like, I don't understand that whole, like, I have a bug up my ass about this and that. And therefore you have to be part of it.
Yeah.
Like,
these two things combined, like TDS and COVID, it destroyed a lifelong friendship. And
as you know, it's well documented that many thousands, millions of Americans stopped talking to their friends, relatives, over.
I'm one of them.
Over the issue of vaccinations and stuff. And
she and I are one of those people.
Or masking, right? Masking was a big thing
all
too.
All of that, the vaccine, all of it, the whole COVID thing, the whole, I'm insufficiently TDSing. And it was just, it was all, it was,
I mean, hell, at that rate, I could have, but didn't. I've been screaming for 4 years. The man, Joe Biden, is senile. He's fucking senile. And everyone's
been saying that for
you're
years.
an asshole, Ted Rall. You don't know what you're talking
about. Are you
about.
supporting Donald Trump, Ted Rall?
Yeah, exactly. You're a right winger.
Because you love Donald Trump.
Yeah, or whatever. And okay, I didn't take any of that personally. I just knew they were mistaken. I knew I was right.
And like, whatever.
And it's like, and it's like, okay, you guys are just stupid and wrong. What can I say?
Like whatever.
I've been stupid and wrong about lots of things. I will be again. I'm sure.
To Matina's point, if she's thinking about a friend, I'm thinking about that friend too, but I feel that I was the one that was wronged. And in that moment of time, I still tried to reach out to her to mend fences, Well,
that's big of you, Manila.
She didn't.
I would have a very hard time for, it's not a forgiveness thing for me. For me, it would be a trust thing. It would be like, you broke up our friendship over this political issue. And I don't know, like, if I can trust your judgment, or if I would never feel comfortable being myself. Like with you, Manila, even like off the air, I can say anything to you and I'm not worried that it's going to blow things up or you're going to like go onto Facebook. Right.
Likewise. Thank you.
So,
yes. Likewise.
And for sure, like you should know the same about me. I would, no matter what happens between us, I would never. And so the point, and so like I need my friendships to feel like that, where I can't be friends with you if I think you might rat me out. If you might rat me out, how am I ever going to trust you? And therefore, what's the value in the friendship, right?
I hate this term, Ted, but it's very succinct. Safe space.
Right. Yeah, it's a safe. Yeah. Well, it's become a dumb. It's actually a very useful term that's become gay. And like, it
got really hijacked by like wokeism and whatever.
It's like equity is actually kind of, diversity is certainly, a worthwhile thing. But again, the way it's been hijacked has been very unfortunate. But, that's the thing, right? So it's kind of like, to me, it's about.
So if you're just drifting apart, that's a different thing. That's what this article talks about. Is you just kind of drifting apart.
Well, that's like,
easy to fix.
Manila, this goes to the same question of, can you be friends with your ex-lover? And it's like, well, if you just, let's say, it depends on how it ended. If your ex-lover moved to Honolulu and you just can't practically be together anymore, but nobody did anything wrong, it's easy to be friends with your ex-lover. It's like, you like each other, you're friends. You can be platonic friends.
I'm friends with a couple exes.
So I mean, I think with the friendship, it's like that too. If you just drifted apart because of but if someone,
but in my instance, you're saying someone wronged me, so
or if it ended in a way that, like, for example, I have a friend who basically he stopped talking to me because my girlfriend at the time fought with his girlfriend at the time, and he sided with her.
That's dumb.
And I'm like, okay, that dude's gay. And like, I'm
That's
not going
dumb.
to, and I'm like, I don't know if could be friends
He
with him again.
chose hoes over bros.
Correct. And he could do that again. He's demonstrated poor judgment. Now, if he called, and let's just say we would call him Alan because his name is Alan. Let's say Alan were to call and say, Ted, I'm really sorry about what I did. That's different. But I would need the apology, not because I need them to grovel. I need the apology so that I know that they're less likely to do something stupid like that again. It's about, like, to me, a relationship has to work. It has to have a function. It has to have a purpose. Right. A friendship has a purpose. And like, it's someone you can confide in, bounce ideas off of, and all that. And if I'm not gonna be able to do that with someone who I can't trust.
There are plenty of articles out there and self-help books about when to cut off relationships of any sort, dating, friendships that do not serve you. So that's exactly in that case, Ted, that dude chose hoes over bros. And so
and for a dumb reason.
Friendship cannot serve you. And I guess even though I grew up with this girl, our families were close, like, it's very sad, but maybe at some point this fracture, the TDS and the COVID stuff, with that fracture,
something about her character.
Right. That maybe she's grown into a certain way. And Ted, I should point out, she was going through a divorce at the time, and she was real crotchety and crabby. Surprise.
Okay. Again, I gotta say, Manila, I mean, I have friends.
I wanted to be there for her, but the TDS and COVID.
I have a friend who died of fucking painful fucking cancer, and he was never a douche to me. You know what I mean?
Oh,
he was always really nice.
Yeah. So you're right. I think this is something. This one is perhaps not. It's irreparable, perhaps, unless she doesn't about face.
This is about her. It's not on you. Yeah. And it's right. It's not about making her feel bad. That's not important.
Oh, I agree.
It's about her recognizing that what she did was a mistake and to hopefully not do it again.
I do not care. I do not care that she's like super woke Harvard alum. Like, I don't care that she's like that at all. Like it, but why does she care that I'm not like her? That's the problem. Like, it doesn't change who you grew up with. It doesn't change that, like we snuck out late at night in the car, and when we're 16, it doesn't change any of that. It doesn't change her. But apparently TDS and COVID fractures. So apart from that, friends,
it caused huge problems. Yeah.
So apart from that, time is up. Apart from that, if your friendship has only just distanced itself and just kind of grew apart with no wronging, just send a simple text. You thought of them, just thinking of you. I hope you're well. That's all. That's it.
That's it.
And then who knows? You might end up at Thanksgiving with each other, or like, Christmas, whatever. You never know. Do you some good. Anyway, we'll leave it there. We're done. We'll be back tomorrow on Thursday, pre-Friday. I like that. Adios, amigos. Thanks for being here.
Thanks,
bye,
everyone.
Ted. Bye, Robbie. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye, Robbie.